Hi, I'm Gareth from Roland UK, and I'm down here at Absolute Music today giving you the preview of our new Roland FA-06 workstation. It's a 61 key full workstation, sequencer, sampler, and for those of you who are familiar with the Integra 7, it's all the sounds from the Integra 7 as you switch the unit on. So there's over 2,000 sounds on the keyboard, and as with the Integra 7, it's 16 parts multi-timbral. You can have 16 sounds layered, split, all with multi-effects at the same time. There is also an FA-08, which is the same keyboard, but in the 88 key version, and they're weighted keys as well. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what the keyboard does. It's quite a cool keyboard, and it has lots of multi-functions which help it to make it very easy to use as well as practical. So we start off with our screen here. Underneath the screen, it's a high-res screen, so you've got quite a lot of quality and detail on the screen. Underneath the screen, we've got our category buttons. So if I wanted, for instance, just a piano, I could just click on piano. All the sounds, acoustic sounds, have the behavior modeling and acoustic modeling that you would have on the Integra 7. As with the synth tones, you have all the synth modeling, the synth editing, and also full editing on PCM tones. So on the left-hand side here, I've got a button which says dual. If I was to press the dual, I've got the piano sound that I just had times 2. So what I can do now is change another sound so I've got a dual sound, two sounds layered. So that's strings and piano. If I was to hit the split button, it automatically splits those two sounds. But then if I hold them both down together, that's when it comes into studio set mode. A studio set is also known as a combination. 16 different sounds, all split, layered across the keyboard, and as I said before, all with different multi-effects and 67 to choose from. So then you can build up quite big soundscapes. And there's a favorite section on here as well, which allows you to store all of these. So for instance, if I click favorite and then pick the bank that I want, there's 100 on here. And for instance, now you've got nice big layers. Also on the top left-hand side of the keyboard, we have the sound modifier. 6 control knobs here, and basically you've got 4 settings of 6 just by pressing the select button. So the first 6 is attack, resonance, etc. Then the next 6 is EQ. The next 6 are all assignable, so you can tell them to any parameters you want. And then underneath that, the next 6 is compressor tone, chorus, reverbs, etc. And also on the left-hand corner here is our DAW control. Now, the FA-06 and FA-08 are full workstations, and the way this works is if I click on the DAW control, I can tell the computer and the keyboard will automatically sync up the tape transport for Cubase. If you hit it again, you've got Logic Pro, Sonar, and it basically means you don't have to worry about setting up the computer. The keyboard will do it all for you. It'll just get it all going. As I said, this keyboard is designed to make life very easy. So underneath the screen again now, if I hit any of these categories and I hit enter, you'll see that the category select buttons are exactly the same as that on the Integra. Really easy way of getting around all the different sounds that are on there. And as I said, you can export the sounds from the Integra 7 directly onto this, the synth tones directly from this Integra 7 onto the keyboard. You can also go to Roland Axial's site and download for free all the sounds to the Integra 7 and also put that straight into the keyboard. So it's very flexible. On the back here there's an SD card and everything is stored to the SD card. If I was to turn this keyboard off, you won't get this with other workstations, but if I switch it on, it only takes 7.5 seconds to load the entire song, all the setups and all the samples as well. So it's really quick and we're ready to go. I'm going to move over to the sequencing side now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to song select. There's 100 songs you can have stored on the SD card. Again, really quick to load up because they're on SD. So I'm just going to load up a blank song at the moment to show what this area is about. When it comes to the sequencer, Roland's gone right back to the start basically and completely did a new type of sequencer that's really easy to use. It has continuously loop recording, and what that means is, for instance, if I pick a sound, I'm just going to have electric piano. And I suddenly get an idea in my head. And I think, oh, I want to record that before I lose it. All I need to do is hit record and pick a tempo. I've got tap tempo or whatever. And it'll say on the screen now whether I want it to quantize my playing, which I better do because my timing is not great. So I'll come down, switch the quantize on, and I'll just do it to an 1/8. And now we're ready to go. It says, do I want to record a loop? Well, yeah, I do, because this is the continuous loop thing. So what I do is hit play, got 1 bar intro. It quantizes myself. I can hit the record button to take myself out of record mode, and then I can hit my sequencer screen. And now you'll see that I have 16 instruments already laid out for me. I can change any one that I want, and every one again has its own multi-effects. So I can say, oh, let's come down to track 10, which is where the drums are. Hit the record button. Take it out of record mode, and then I think, oh, I want to do another track. I can also change sounds whilst I'm recording, so I go, I don't want a synth lead, I want a brass. Hit the record button. Another track. And so on. So it's a really quick way of putting down 16 audio tracks. Now the other thing about this keyboard is these are MIDI tracks. It's a 16-track MIDI sequencer. But if I was to export this to my SD card and put it into the computer, they become 16 audio stems, which allows you then to actually work on them with your DAW system as audio stems and not as MIDI files. So and you can even export it as a stereo mix. Now I'm going to load another song, because I said about the keyboard having individual effects per sound. There's also another thing on the FA-06 and FA-08 which is completely new as well, and it's called TFX, which is total effects. So I've recorded a backing track here with just a few tracks, and I've also going to come onto the sample pad in a minute. But basically what these TFX do is the total effects that run over the entire keyboard. So I've already got total reverbs, chorus, compressors, etc., and EQs for the keyboard. But these are another band again, which is where this kind of goes over to the DJ side. I've done a backing track, for instance, here. If I come to menu, and then I come to effects edit, at the bottom of the screen here, I've got TFX, and this is how it works. So you just pick a TFX. This one's quite cool. Another one. So each, there's 30 different TFX to choose from. But now I want to use this song as a sampler. Now the keyboard's great. On the back of it, you've got a mic input and you've got a guitar input, and basically this is for sampling straight in. There's also separate effects purely for the mic. But the way the sampler works, this pad area here, I have 16 pads, and these are multi-function pads. They allow me to use it as a sampler, as a numerical pad. If I want to edit tones, I can use these to get into the actual oscillators to change. And they're being updated, software updated all the time as well. So all I need to do is come over, and I'm going to use these as a sample. But what I want to do is sample the song that I've just played, so that I can break it up and mess it down. So for instance, to do that, just hit the sampler, pick a pad that you want, that you want to sample on. So I'm going to say 16. It's telling me I've already got a sample on it, so I can overwrite that. These go straight down to SD card. I can set this to auto trigger, which I'm going to, and basically what happens now, rewind the song. As soon as I press play on here, it starts sampling. Press stop. it goes straight to the truncate screen, full editing, start, stop, truncate, loop, etc. And it's already on this pad. Now, if I want to use those total effects, I can basically sample the keyboard. It'll automatically sample the keyboard anyway, but I then have to tell it to do keyboard and guitar, or keyboard and mic, or just guitar. But then basically that's on there. So now those total effects that you heard with the beat loop, for instance, if I just play the sample with it on, I've got a hold function. Now every song can have 4 banks of 16 samples on, and you can actually play 4 samples at a time, hold 4 samples down. And the way that this works is you just literally press the sample and then the 3 together if you want. So we're not using the sequencer at all now. But if I want to, I can now use one of the full 16 part sounds from the keyboard to play along with the sampler. As I said, all of this stuff goes straight onto an SD card, so there's no load up times, for doing all of these. And this is quite cool when you are actually starting to use this for DJing or whatever, so you can actually remix. But the best thing is, if you are doing songs for live and you basically want the chorus to be on one, or as this is a 16-track sequencer, MIDI sequencer, what I do is record all the audio on my DAW system, all my backing vocals, etc., and then I assign them all to different sample pads on here, and then I sequence them on the sequencer. It's a really flexible keyboard and really easy to use. As I said, there's no problem with sounds. You've got millions of sounds on there as well to access from the Roland Axel site, and over 2,000 built in. And the real beauty of this keyboard is also its price. This is going to be selling for under £850, and the 88 weighted key version is going to be under £1,300. So not only are you getting a quality piece of kit, you're also getting it at a price that doesn't really hurt the pocket too much. It's very flexible. It's the Roland FA-06 and the FA-08, and today I am at Absolute Music. Thank you very much.